Hello, Steve Arts 89. Well, The Little Mermaid approaches. Some of the early sort of non-spoiler reviews are coming out from people who have seen them, like Grace Randolph, for example. I know some people don't like Grace Randolph. I like Grace Randolph. I mean, the fact that she wrote a Fraggle Rock story just automatically means, she gets my approval. But yeah, she was saying it was great. She was not impressed by the press releases, by the promotion of the movie, the effects in the trailers and scenes they'd seen. She said the film itself looks great. That a lot of the promotional stuff must have been early CGI work or something. And she was saying that for the most part, the characters aren't as big and lively as the animated versions, that she felt the actors were playing it safe. And I'm sort of like, well, they're real live action people. They can't be as animated, characters. So that's a little. I think that's a little bit unfair, I think. But at the same time, they may be playing it safe. They may not want to be too over the top because they may feel in an animated movie they have to ground it with some sort of reality, and they can't be, they can't chew the scenery too much. So maybe it is a bit of that. Maybe I don't know. But people have good things to say about Halle Bailey's voice and her performance overall. Some comment about the length of the film, that they have expanded some scenes and that. Now, unfortunately, I've never seen the original. Not really. My niece had a copy of it on video, so I saw it a million times, but I never actually watched it, if you know what I mean. So I feel like I know it, but I actually don't. I've never actually watched it. I have a copy of it on DVD. I bought it a little while ago when I heard this film was going to come out, so I thought I should watch this before I watched that. So I was kind of interested in how they're going to do that. And I hear that the film has a more objective gaze, as in it's not objectifying the women. The men in the film are very beautiful. The male mermen, the mermen. Why did I say male mermen? The male mermaids or the mermen apparently look very hot, and there's something for everyone to look at. So that sounds good. And so I'm not really hearing anything bad, other than just some people saying that it's not as good as the original. But can it ever be? Can a live action film ever be as good as animated? I don't really think it can, because animated can just do more and can get away with more. So yeah, but apparently, so there are some people criticizing it, but it's hard to tell if they're the haters, if they're the racists who are just coming out because she's black and they're going to have that issue. I personally think the first live action film should have been with a white redhead that looked just like Ariel, and then, because they're going to keep making different versions of it, then just go to different ethnic minorities, and eventually there'll be like 10 of these films down the road, and everyone can have an Ariel. But I kind of feel like when you're doing a live action version, it's all about making the cartoon real, and if you make changes, it doesn't have the same effect. It doesn't have the same nostalgia factor for the people who really loved it. So, that was my issue when they first released it. But it looks good, and but there is some talk that it's not doing well in China, that the projections are up, and they've already had pre-sales. And I heard a really low count. I'm not going to repeat it because I'm not sure if it was accurate, and it might be like a day old at this point. But it's not looking good in China, and that's one of the box offices that they need. It has been for a while, but it's been a bit fickle the last few years. So I'd like to think America's gotten smarter and isn't relying totally on the Chinese box office to save films that aren't doing well in the US, like Transformers. They did really well in China, but the films themselves just got really bad and weren't doing so well in America. I need to check those numbers. That's sort of the story that's sort of been out there from all the people who've been looking at videos for. But yeah, so Little Mermaid, early reviews, mixed to good. It's difficult because everyone's comparing it to the original, which everyone has sentimental nostalgia for. It's you have to sort of weigh that in when people are reviewing it. It's not like a new film, like just a new film where people are just looking at it and can be objective. It's really hard to be objective about something that's based on a cartoon that you grew up watching. So I'm gonna lean towards the good for the film. I think if I watched it, having never really seen the animated film, I'd probably not have any issues with it. And some people are going in without having seen the original, but I'm guessing most people have seen the original. I don't know. But I just thought it was interesting that people are focusing on the China box office, and since the film hasn't been released yet, and I don't think they've done pre-sales for the tickets in America yet, so I'm always kind of fascinated how much they get from that sort of information and how all these estimates come up, and you have your estimates and your pre-sales, and then you actually see how it actually turns out on the opening weekend, and then the famous second weekend. So we'll see. Aladdin had a lot of complaints as well, and that made $1 billion. So I don't know. It'll be curious to see how this plays out. I've been waiting for this film to come and to see how it does. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I don't think anyone's done any spoiler reviews yet. I've heard there are some big changes. That Ariel saves herself is the only thing I've heard, but no one specifically said how. That it's her story and she owns it, basically, as opposed to the traditional damsel in distress being rescued by the prince, which is, I'm guessing, how the film went. I haven't seen the original. I'm going to watch it before this film comes out, so it doesn't get spoiled by the reviews of the new one. Bye.